Hey, how you doing? It's Slim Overton here. You remember Portsmouth Coffee Talk? I know you do because we were on for over 5 years here in the city of Portsmouth, and it was something we launched some time ago before the pandemic. And we started out with Portsmouth Coffee Talk on the radio for the first half an hour, and then we continued the next half an hour on our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel. We did the show live. Now, well, we started out on the Facebook channel and then we uploaded it to our YouTube channel. But now, after a while, we got to the point more sophisticated. Still trying to figure out these things now, but we got more sophisticated and we were able to simulcast the YouTube channel and our Facebook pages at the same time. Of course, we did it live. We did the show live, so the audience could participate if they wanted to. But anyway, and we went on, suspended it for a while. After a long while, it was a long time to be on, and our host, had some other things that they had to do or they wanted to do. I had some other things I wanted to try with different platforms, but tried to keep the Portsmouth Coffee Talk brand alive. You will see me out and about with my Portsmouth Coffee Talk hat and maybe shirt, and just keeping it alive. And most people really realize they would say they miss it or they had a hard time finding it. I said, well, we kind of suspended now, and don't know where we're going with that. But what I want to do is, and I talk to the original host. I want to have with the original host, who was Leah Drake Stick, and Thomas the Colonel Chapman, who was my cousin, and we had a long run with that and some great guests. Every once in a while, I go back and look at some over 500 videos, and sometimes I go back and look at some of those interviews and the quality of the guests that came on that show. Professors from Norfolk State in different areas really helped us on some of the subjects that we wanted to cover. Doctors and lawyers and citizens, and we just covered a variety of subjects. A lot of it were based on politics. The Colonel made sure we brought politics into about everything we did, and if you really think about it, politics is kind of involved with everything you do. You go to work, it's politics and trying to maneuver through every day that goes on at work, and everywhere we are. In church, politics is there. People, trying to gain get you on their side for something that they want to do. That's politics. So we did a lot of shows about different areas, health issues, crime, and whenever we had the sheriff of the city of Portsmouth on, we had mayors from other cities, council people from other cities on at different times, and it's just some of them I had forgot about, and just going back and taking a look at some of the shows that we had and some of the subjects we covered. And one of my favorites was called Coloration, and a lot of people that maybe in my age bracket can remember how prevalent that was, even in our own black communities. Colorations, the color of your skin, as we fight with the color of our skin making people look at us differently just because of that. We had some issues within our own community about coloration, when a lighter hue of people felt that they were better, and so it was those kind of honest conversations we would have on Portsmouth Coffee Talk, and that's what it takes in order to better understand each other or positions of other people. You have to have those sometimes tough conversations and just lay it all out. It can turn into arguments sometimes, or just constructive disagreements that you can get a little angry sometimes because people can be passionate about certain things and really gets the blood boiling, and they can get kind of carried away. But that's why we like to do it live, because we want the real reactions of our guests and the people that might be watching. So what I'm trying to do, and I believe my co-hosts, original co-hosts, are going to agree with it, is to have a Portsmouth Coffee Talk reunion, where we come together and do a series of shows. Don't know if we'll continue on, because my co-hosts still have things they want to do, or maybe we won't do it on a regular basis, because that takes a lot of time. But occasionally come back, or might find someone that wants to continue that, under our guidance, of course. But I think it's a lot of political news that we could be talking about, and that's why I wanted to step away for a while to create some other platforms that wouldn't be as political, that we could cover some other subjects, and kind of got those going, as well as a YouTube channel that I developed with my granddaughter, and we've done about 2 videos, but we're gonna pick that up. We can't do that too often with an 8-year-old, because trying to hold the concentration of him, you end up doing most of the talking yourself. But I have that platform set up, so whenever we want to come together with Papa and Zuri, and that's my granddaddy name, and we have that ready. So I've done what I wanted to do as far as setting up some other platforms so we could cover other subjects, but I'm kind of missing the Portsmouth Coffee Talk, where it was a large concentration on politics and what's going on as well. But right now, I just want to have that reunion with the original co-hosts, and sort of go down memory lane and talk about some of the shows that we had, and how it was a learning curve for us getting used to this social media thing, and and things have gotten better now, especially those shows that we cover some really heavy subjects, and just like today, we're getting information every day now that we could be talking about. But just wanted to do that reunion with us and the original, and let me know, how do you feel about that? Would you watch a reunion with the Coffee Talk original hosts, talking about the many videos they did, and some of the subjects that were covered, and some of the things, and how we felt about, and what was our favorite videos, or who were our favorite guests, if they want to say that. And so we're going to do that, and then have a few shows afterwards, a series of shows, inviting some of those early guests, or our guests in particular, back to the show, just to talk about the time when they were on the show and what we talked about. And one thing in particular, I guess we could do this during the reunion show, is how we talked about the Project 2025, maybe 2 years before the election came, when Trump was reelected after Biden was in between his election, which he is still saying that was stolen. But we talked about it, and we brought guests on, brought professors, Dr. Coletta from Norfolk State, Coletta Fairfax from Norfolk State, to come on and talk about. She even dissected parts of the Project 2025, and even advised us how to dissect it, because it was like 900 pages. And she was just saying, just find some things, or get in a group and assign certain people to certain parts of it, and then come together and talk about it. But that was then, and even with all the conversations we had about that, trying to warn people to make sure that they consider that before they go to the polls and make a mistake, and bring the wrong administration in, or not vote at all. And that's exactly what happened. A lot of people, 8 million people, didn't vote, and I think that and some other things made the difference in getting Trump back into office, and him bringing in his people so they could execute the 2025. And they didn't hide any of it. Didn't hide one bit of it. They talked about it. They put it out there for the public to read, because they had been working on that for a while, and they thought that nobody could stop them. So why not talk about it and do it in your face? Because they had gotten away for some other things that motivated them to want to do what they wanted to do. So we're going to come back with a Portsmouth Coffee Talk reunion with the original host and have a show, and it might be a 1 hour show or a 2 hour show or part 1 and part 2. But of course, we want to do a few shows afterwards, and we'll probably spread them out and invite, a panel of some of the people that were former guests on to the show to talk about their time with us, and some of the maybe present issues of the day. But we don't want to come back and put that burden on the original host or myself to commit to every week like we did for a long time, and especially when we did it for over 5 years. At one time 6 in the morning, then 6:30, and then we ended up doing it like 7, I think. But that was still kind of early in the morning. But we did it. We did it for a long time, and it was amazing that a lot of our guests woke up to do that. And originally, before I go, I started on the radio doing the 7 Cities Forums of Hampton Roads, and that sort of transferred into, when COVID came, we didn't want to go into the studio because I brought Thomas the Colonel in, and we were going to the studio every morning doing our show. It wasn't called Portsmouth Coffee Talk then. It was called the 7 Cities Forums of Hampton Roads, and we were doing the Portsmouth. We were doing the Portsmouth segment of it, and the radio station had different other people doing the other cities. Dr. Ward was doing Chesapeake, and some other people were doing Hampton and other cities. But and then the COVID hit, so we were still on the radio, but we were doing it remotely. We would call in the radio station, and for the first half an hour of our show, we would simultaneously be on the radio station along with us filming live for Facebook, and that's how we started getting the guests virtually, because the people weren't going into close quarters like if you've ever been to a radio studio, it's close quarters, and wasn't nobody taking that chance with the COVID how it was spreading and actually killing people. And that's another story, how that was handled. But we even talked about that, how they were handled that during that time, and giving warnings to people about, don't fight over going into a store because they want you to wear a mask. And we saw a lot of that. Wasn't that crazy? Wasn't that the craziest thing? People were willing to fight or try to bum rush the store because they didn't want to wear a mask. And it wasn't so much that we are taking away your rights because you had to wear a mask, but it was also for the protection of the other people that were in there. They didn't know what you had. You remember how it was, and you were somewhere in the public and somebody coughed. Everybody turned around and looked, or either got up and left. That was a crazy time. But we weathered that storm through COVID because we did everything virtually, and eventually the radio part of it ended because they really wanted us back in the studio, and the COVID had sort of died down, but it was a logistics kind of thing, having to get up that early in the morning for a 6 a.m. show and drive to the studio was was kind of hard. So so then we turned into what doing all the shows virtually, and it just turned out better that way because it was easier for guests, especially that early in the morning, that they could either do it from their job if they were in there, or they could do it from home. Just log in and have the show. So we did many videos, over 500 videos, doing it virtually, and I can count on one hand how many people did not come on the show that we asked, and it wasn't because they didn't want to come. It was because we couldn't work out the schedule. It was too early for them. So, but all the people we had, Senator Louise Lucas, some of them. We had the former city manager. Of course, we had many of the city councilmen at the time and school board members, and talked about all the issues. But I've been going on and on. I just wanted to come up here and just announce that stay tuned for a Portsmouth Coffee Talk reunion with the original host, as we just reminisce about the times that we had doing those shows. And remember, Portsmouth Coffee Talk is not gone completely, but we just wanted to revive it a little bit for that reunion, and maybe do some things periodically under the brand of Portsmouth Coffee Talk, because I think we really did some great work there with my co-hosts. I really applaud them. We were a good team as far as when we had our shows and the guests. Everybody on the team had something significant to contribute to our conversations with our guests. Of course, the Colonel always was up on the political scene, and Leah was up on just about everything. But mostly, she showed the compassion, and it made our guests feel comfortable, and knew many of the guests, and really was able to add some personal stories that she had with many of the guests who came up there, as well as just contributing all the experiences she had working in state government, and a member of the school board, Portsmouth School Board at one time. So those two alone brought a wealth of knowledge and experience to our show. And I was just there. The guy that contact the guests and ask them about coming on, and then if they said yes, scheduling and setting up the shows for us to air. So that was my role, and of course I contributed on some of the things that I knew or had experienced, but which made, like I said, for a very good working team. That's what we're going to try to do. So hopefully you will agree to join us when we put it together. Hopefully before the summer's out, and hopefully it won't be that long. Hopefully it will be within the next month or soon. Who knows? If we have that strong appetite to really do it, and it won't take a lot to put that reunion together virtually and be able to talk. And one of the things we'll be able to do too, even with the reunion, being able to, that first show is going to be dedicated to the original cast, the original co-host of the show. But we won't shy away from bringing on someone that might be watching that has something to contribute to as a follower of the show, or a fan, or something they just might want to contribute about present day or a hot topic that's on their mind at the time. So we're open to all that. We just want to make sure that we give you something that's entertainment, something you will enjoy, and have fun with it. So stay tuned for that, and I'm looking forward to being able to put that together, especially with my team, our team that we had and did for so long. You know, I kind of miss those guys. And those early mornings, sleep in your eyes, and you know, sometimes some of those shows would be so early, and even as exciting as the show might be, that sleep would hit you halfway through, and you just had to fight it. But it was a good time. It was a good time, and we learned a lot of things doing it. But thanks, everybody. Happy 4th of July to you. I don't know when you'll see this, but this was done on 4th of July. And wow, it's going to be interesting to see. Well, it won't be. I don't plan on watching, whatever address the president has on 4th of July. He's going to get up there and lie and talk forever. And they even have to push the fireworks back because he's not even going to start talking until 9 o'clock. It's almost time for 4th of July to be over. But, I guess he figures that's the most time when most people will be watching, so he wants to get all the spotlight. So, but what a way, leave it to him, the way to ruin the 4th of July. But I guess if he's coming on that late, it's not going to ruin whatever you had planned for earlier that day. It's just that it's so hot out there. And by the way, if you're outside, just be careful. Be aware of that heat index. It might be 99, but the heat index, like 117, that means that's what it feels like. And that's how it can affect you, especially if you have some health problems. So just be sure that you are careful and stay hydrated during these really hot days. But anyway, we'll see, and thanks a lot. Appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for the Portsmouth Coffee Talk reunion with the original co-host. See you next time.